Good evening, you're watching AWANI Tonight with me, Faye Kwan. Police are working to identify the contractor responsible for construction works near the site of the gas pipeline fire in Putra Heights. Once confirming their identity, Subang Jaya District Police Chief Wan Azlan Wan Mamat says the individual will be called in to provide a statement.
Authorities also plan to consult the local council to verify whether the contractor had the necessary permits and would refer to Petronas to determine if they had granted any authorization. Wan Azlan was responding to allegations that construction work on a nearby shop lot was suspected to be the cause of the explosion. However, he said the focus remains on recording statements from displaced residents and victims receiving treatment. So far, authorities have received 59 police reports related to injuries, damaged houses and vehicles due to the incident. The fire, which broke out on Tuesday morning due to a gas pipeline leak, produced flames reaching several stories high, injuring at least 145 people, damaging over 200 homes and displacing 364 residents. Separately, Wan Azlan confirmed that small fires were still burning in some of the affected houses. The Fire and Rescue Department has deployed a fire engine with 6 personnel to continue monitoring the area and prevent further flare-ups.
Meanwhile, the government is studying measures to support victims whose homes were affected by the fire in Putra Heights yesterday. Housing and Local Government Minister Nga Khaw Ming says his ministry is prepared to engage with all stakeholders to address housing matters.
The minister said rebuilding the homes would take time, but that his ministry was actively exploring ways to expedite the process. He assured that the government was committed to finding the right mechanism to help victims resolve their housing issues. Currently, those who lost their homes are being housed at Masjid Nurul Iman in Puchong and a temporary relief centre at the Masjid Putra Heights Multi-Purpose Hall. During his visit to the scene on Tuesday, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim announced that the federal and Selangor government, along with Petronas, would be responsible for repairing and replacing the damaged houses. He also announced cash aids of 5,000 ringgit for those whose homes were completely destroyed and 2,500 ringgit for others affected by the blaze.
On to international news. Israel will expand its military operation in Gaza, aiming to seize large areas of the territory and incorporate them into security zones. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz says the expansion seeks to destroy and clear the area of terrorists and will require large-scale evacuations of Palestinian residents.
The announcement comes as local hospitals said at least 15 Palestinians were killed overnight, amid reports that Israeli forces have begun operations in Rafah. To date, more than 50,300 people have been killed in Gaza during the ensuing war, according to the Hamas-run Health Ministry. This week, Israel's military ordered an estimated 140,000 people in Rafah to leave their homes and issued new evacuation orders for parts of northern Gaza. The renewed offensive, launched on March 18th, followed claims that Hamas had rejected a new US proposal to extend the ceasefire and free 59 hostages held captive in Gaza. Hamas in turn has accused Israel of violating the original agreement reached in January. Meanwhile, Gaza's humanitarian crisis has dramatically worsened in recent weeks, with Israel blocking aid deliveries since March 2nd, the longest blockage since the war began. The United Nations also announced it was reducing its operations in Gaza after Israeli forces killed 8 Palestinian medics, 6 civil defense first responders, and a UN staff member in the south.
The United Nations dismissed an assertion by Israel that there was enough food in the Gaza Strip to last for a long period of time, despite the closure of all 25 bakeries in the enclave supported by the World Food Programme. This is on the back of no aid being delivered to the Palestinian enclave since March 2nd.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office has said it would not allow the entry of all goods and supplies into Gaza until Hamas releases all remaining hostages. Then later in March, Israel resumed its bombardment of Gaza after a 2-month truce and sent troops back into the enclave. Kogat, the Israeli military agency that coordinates aid deliveries, said on Tuesday that during the truce, some 25,200 trucks entered Gaza, carrying almost 450,000 tons of aid.
With the WFP closing all the bakeries and Israel still keeping all the borders closed. Israel says there's still enough food that was delivered to Gaza during the ceasefire. What is the UN's response to that?
As far as the UN is concerned, that's ridiculous. I mean, we are at the tail end of our supplies, of the supplies that came in through the humanitarian route. WFP doesn't close its bakeries for fun. If there's no flour, if there's no cooking gas, the bakeries cannot open.
Before the 2-month ceasefire, global food security experts warned in November that there was a strong likelihood that famine is imminent in areas of northern Gaza. Throughout the war, the UN has described its humanitarian operation in Gaza as opportunistic, facing problems with Israel's military operation, access restrictions by Israel into and throughout Gaza, and looting by armed gangs. Hamas said Gaza has reached a famine phase, describing it as one of the worst humanitarian crises in modern history. It said it held Israel fully responsible for the catastrophic human consequences increasing by the hour.
We'll head for a quick break. Stay tuned.
Cuba elak panas terik, tapi kulit kepala masih gatal dan berminyak. Mungkin ia kelemomo. Gunalah Head & Shoulders. Berkesan menghapuskan kelemomo sehingga 100% bebas kelemomo. Head & Shoulders.
Mama, kita cuba ni nak.
Alamak. Mujur ada, Maggi cukup rasa. Bawang segar dan rempah ratus melazatkan lagi masakan.
Mama ni apa pun boleh.
Ada ni, Mama yakin apa pun jadi.
Kerap menggaru kulit kepala disebabkan kelomomor, masalahnya lebih mendalam. Gunalah Head & Shoulders menembusi 5 lapisan untuk membasmi kelomomor dan kegatalan. Bebas kelomomor sehingga 100%. Head & Shoulders diuji secara dermatologi.
Di dalam setiap berita yang dibawa, konteks amat penting. Kami sentiasa membawakan yang tergempar dan terkini. Pastikan Astro AWANI menjadi pilihan anda, tidak kira di mana sahaja anda berada.
Welcome back. The Trump administration's trade war with China sent shockwaves across the global economy with tariffs and shifting policies. How can Malaysia, caught in the ripple effects, balance new opportunities and risks as China re-strategizes its investments? Dr. Goh Lim Tai from University Malaya shares his insights.
The trade war between the United States and China triggered a significant shift in global investment flows. In particular, it prompted Chinese firms to seek alternative destinations for capital and operations. According to the Malaysian Investment Development Authority 2024 report, Chinese foreign direct investment into Malaysia reached Ringgit Malaysia 282 billion, ranking third after the United States and Germany. This investment surge have strengthened Malaysia's positions in high-value sectors such as semiconductors, artificial intelligence and green energies. Companies like China's SMIC and Huawei have expanded operation in Malaysia, contributing to technological advancement and supply chain diversifications. However, this trend has also introduced notable risks. There are concerns about Malaysia being used as a transshipment hub to bypass US tariff. In addition, local manufacturers face increasing competitions, particularly in electronics, construction materials, and steel. Another challenge is the preference among many Chinese firms to employ their own nationals in key positions. 36.3% of firms reportedly do so, citing language barriers and skill gaps. In response, Malaysia's economy policy has become more selective. While the country continues to welcome high-quality investment, it is also implementing targeted strategies to mitigate potential risks. This includes encouraging workforce localizations, strengthening domestic R&D capacities through initiatives like the National Semiconductor Roadmap, and improving regulatory oversight to ensure that foreign investment contributes meaningfully to long-term national development.
So how can Malaysia harness the benefits of rising Chinese investments while protecting local businesses from competitive pressures? Here's what Dr. Goh has to say.
To manage this pressure, Malaysia needs to ensure that Chinese investment contributes to local capability building rather than outcompeting domestic firms. In my opinion, the first priority is developing local talent. Malaysia dropped 7 places to 34 in the IMD World Competitiveness Ranking 2024, reflecting challenges in talent readiness and workforce competitiveness. Addressing this requires sustained investment in skill developments. Initiatives such as the Huawei Penang Skill Development Center and the Tsinghua University Malaya AI collaborations are important steps in equipping Malaysians for roles in high-value sectors like semiconductors and digital technology. Second, Malaysia must deepen local linkages. Chinese firms should be encouraged to work with Malaysian suppliers, collaborate with local businesses, and actively transfer technologies. This ensures that foreign investment strengthens the domestic ecosystems rather than creating parallel value chains that bypass local firms. Thirdly, there must be a stronger focus on long-term impact. Tools like investment impact assessments can help policymakers evaluate how foreign capitals affect innovations, competitions, and industrial resilience. Strategy initiatives like the National Semiconductor Roadmap also support homegrown innovations and reduce over-reliance on external technology sources. In short, while Chinese investment presents significant opportunities, Malaysia's policy response must remain focused on national competitiveness, ensuring that foreign capital supports rather than substitutes local economic growth.
US President Donald Trump is preparing to unveil a sweeping tariff plan later today in what the White House has dubbed Liberation Day. However, details remain unclear on the scope of the tariffs and which countries would be affected.
Trump has said the tariffs would be reciprocal, meaning they were based on rates that other countries impose on US. He argued that the tariffs would benefit US manufacturers by encouraging consumers to buy goods made in America. Trump's tariff announcement follows a new 25% import tax on auto imports set to take effect on April 3rd, with car parts expected to face the same tax in the coming months. It also comes amid growing concerns that the uncertainty surrounding his extensive tariff policies is eroding investor, consumer, and business confidence, potentially slowing activity and driving up prices.
Hollywood actor Val Kilmer, known for his roles in Top Gun, The Doors, and Batman Forever, has passed away at the age of 65. According to the New York Times, Kilmer died from pneumonia. His daughter, Mercedes Kilmer, confirmed the news.
Kilmer was born in Los Angeles in 1959. He trained at the prestigious Juilliard School before rising to fame in the 1980s. He rose to fame as Iceman in Top Gun. In 2014, Kilmer was diagnosed with throat cancer. The treatments, including a tracheostomy, left him with a permanently altered voice. Despite his health struggles, he continued acting, even making a highly praised return as Iceman in Top Gun Maverick in 2022.
Basics. He's just so funny.
That report wraps up AWANI Tonight. Check out our web portal, keeping you informed on the critical events shaping our world. All in one place at international.astroawani.com. That's all for now. I'm Faye Kwan. Thank you for watching and good night.
Penyasaran subsidi diesel di